My name's Michael Young, and I'm an industrial designer working around the world. I have a studio in Hong Kong now, but spend a lot of time in Avalon. So I've come to launch a chair for Amico, or talk about it, and then talk later at ADA to give my opinion about what I think about copyright design and intellectual property. Intellectual property is a bit of a tough one. Being a designer, it's the kind of thing you want to keep hold of, because the minute you lose it, people can change your designs and do whatever you want. Ultimately, I've actually found I work in China most of the time, and I have a lot more integrity with my Chinese clients, and I've been copied a lot less in Asia than I have been in Europe. I've been copied off by hundreds of students and companies in Europe, whereas in Asia, for some reason, it's never happened to me before. So it's a kind of ironic concept to what most people think is the norm, that China is this copy nation. I like investment in design, and that generally means I can control what I do in terms of shape and form and material. That alone is an exciting thing for me to wake up with every day. So it doesn't matter whether it's a telephone or a watch or a chair. I hadn't designed chairs for years, and because my wife was designing a restaurant, she said, "Can you design a chair?" And I ended up designing 3 of the best chairs I've ever done. So I think you do a lot for love as well. You know, you do a lot, if you feel passionate, you do things as well. I think the design really, we all have our language, but I also respect the language of Amico. Amico is one of those brands which you need to be able to recognize an Amico product in a shop. And that's the sort of the beauty of a strong brand. So I looked at that and combined it with those materials, combined a bit of Michael Young into it, and then we got the Emeco Chair. And it flowed really beautifully, one of the most smoothest projects I've ever done. He contacted me because he wanted to buy a bicycle I'd designed, and we got talking, and he said, "Why don't you design a chair?" And I thought I'd have a go, and because I've actually been working in the bicycle industry a lot, it actually opened up a lot of new possibilities to work with aluminium that I don't think you really experience if you live in London or New York. But, you know, having been in Taiwan and Hong Kong, I've got all of these, you know, I've got one factory that makes computer casing. They make aluminium, and that inspired me to think about certain ways of using aluminium. So I think the chair was really came out of a very different industrial experience. And then actually Amico told me they had a very good wood supplier near their factory. So we started talking about how we can create a sort of more long-lasting, earthy Amico chair with some wood and aluminium. For me, the future of design is about the use of machines and exploiting the sort of complexity of production, because of course, you know, as the world becomes more aware of design, and I think generally people who didn't know about design are a lot more aware of it and more sensitive. So the demand for products with integrity is becoming higher and higher. And to keep that integrity, it often means a greater level of manufacturing, which means more investment. So, you know, on the whole, design is splitting up into 2 different levels, which is you either compete with quality or you compete with price. And if you compete with price, you end up with a lower level product. So that's where the market's going. So it's a good thing for design in the future.